Our special guest today is Miss Nora Blake. Miss Blake is currently the manager of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, JSSE. She served as a special advisor in the Ministry of Industry Investment and Commerce, which is the team that developed the policy that includes the social sector of the economy. She is also a local pioneer in the area of social entrepreneurship. So much for coming on, Miss Blake. I know you reside in Jamaica, so please tell us, what is your parish of birth and where are you presently living in Jamaica?
Okay, sure. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. I am from Jamaica.
Yes.
Born in Kingston, as they say, under the clock. I'm not a country girl.
Yeah, man.
I live in St. Andrew, in the Jackals area of St. Andrew.
Lovely. So are you still living there?
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, that's where I reside.
So you were born there and you still live there. Perfect. I was also born in
left Jamaica.
I was also born in Kingston. Kingston too.
Oh.
Yes.
That's like Rollington Town, Vineyard Town, I think.
Yes, that's where I went to school. Rollington Town Primary.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much again for coming on. I appreciate it, and I know you have a lot of interesting things to share, so I'm going to move it along. You are a local pioneer in the area of social entrepreneurship with extensive technical knowledge in micro and small business facilitation at the community level. And we would love to hear more about your educational journey in that field.
Well, it's pretty simple and straightforward in that social entrepreneurship is a relatively new discipline. Well, certainly at the graduate level.
Right.
I did my first degree I did in natural sciences. I initially wanted to be a dentist, so I went to the University of the West Indies, studied in the Faculty of Sciences, biology, zoology, chemistry, blah, blah, blah. However, along the way, I got myself involved in helping people in the inner city, in the communities.
Yes.
And my mentor, Dr. Henley Morgan, who operates in the inner city through a social enterprise called Agency for Inner City Renewal, he actually recruited a gentleman from the United States of blessed memory now, Dr. Rosberg, and they developed a curriculum for the first MBA program in social entrepreneurship, which was offered at the University College of the Caribbean, UCC.
Yes.
And that was where I got introduced to the discipline of social entrepreneurship.
Wonderful. It sounds very exciting what you're doing, and we can't wait to hear even more. Now listen, you have received several awards for your volunteering work. Now please share some of your many accomplishments and awards.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I basically found myself living in the inner city community of Maxfield Avenue, which is where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Maxfield Avenue borders Trenchtown, district of Rosetown and Whitfield Town.
Yes.
And I found that the area was very depressed at the time, and I just thought I could make some contribution. So I moved in and went to live in the community. This is after, long after university and professional development and so on. And it was all voluntary. I started by basically assisting children to go to school. That was my first concern.
Wonderful.
Why am I seeing so many children on the roads in the days? Children are supposed to be in school in the days.
Yes.
So I started to solicit funds from friends, from church.
That's wonderful.
And I was able to, supply school money for lunch, whoever needed uniform, whoever needed shoes. And, I formed an NGO called Picnic Friends. And through that, I was able to reach out. And I had been doing that for quite some time until the NCB Foundation, no, the NCB Bank, they at the time were doing an annual initiative recognizing nation builders. And so out of what I was doing, I was invited to participate, to fill out the form as an applicant for an award. And I was chosen. I was awarded Nation Builder in the individual category. That would have been in 2012, I believe.
Yes.
And then in 2013, when we had our 50th anniversary, annually they issue an award that is the Prime Minister's Medal of Appreciation to persons.
Wonderful.
And I was given that in recognition of the voluntary work that I've been doing in the communities.
Yes.
And so, that's where it all started. Facilitated a number of people in their own micro enterprises. It's just varied what I have done. The most recent activity that I've been involved in outside of my work was to start another group for the situation of domestic violence, gender-based violence.
Yes,
and by gender, I am specific to girls and women. Yeah.
Yes.
And, violence against girls and women is something that happens pretty often. And so that is kind of where my focus is now in my advocacy work.
Thank you. It's obvious that you've done a lot of work as a volunteer, and those awards are a testament to the value of your work. Now, as you mentioned, you're an advocate against gender-based violence, and I know that's something that's really a scourge on Jamaica at the moment. And you focus, you say, on girls and women, and you're the founder of a watchdog group. And as such, you probably witnessed some first-hand atrocities against women and girls. So how would you say is this group helping these victims? How are you able to help?
Okay, well, my level of intervention is at the advocacy level.
Okay.
There are a number of entities in Jamaica that provide hand-holding for, people who are abused, like there's a shelter facility and so on. But my pitch is for the advocacy to get the legislation that will help women, in particular, in the cases of abuse, spousal abuse.
Right.
The law in Jamaica, for example, basically, in colloquial terms, still sees a wife as a man's property. And so, for example, if there's abuse in the home, there's no legislation yet that requires him to move from the home and allow the woman and the children to have peaceful existence.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
We have to advocate for. We do have a situation where you can report, abuse, but then nothing comes of it. So there's advocacy to prevent, the recurrence or the re-entry of a person into a family where there has been a report of abuse.
Yes.
So, and additionally, the next area that we want to focus on is education, because a lot of what happens is because of cultural belief too.
Yes, ignorance.
Not valuing girls and women, and
Yes.
believing that a woman's body is something that you can access at will and so on. It's deep cultural
Yes.
beliefs that are held. So education is going to be a very big part of redesigning how our community will operate, how little boys will see little girls, so that when they become big men, they respect women and they treat them a certain way without abuse.
It's so sad. Have you seen any change, though, since you guys have started this.
It's not significant at all.
Oh, that's a
But at the
shame.
government level, we have recently received or seen them build some new shelters,
Right.
areas where women can go. And so we applaud that, but it's nowhere near sufficient, nowhere near what is needed.
Okay. So perhaps that's one of the things we as the diaspora can help with. We can find out more
Quite
about
possible.
that.
Yes.
Now,
So we could continue to speak after this
yes,
and
indeed.
see how we might collaborate. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. As I mentioned in my introduction, you are currently the manager of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, JSSE. I'm intrigued to learn more about JSSE and your position because I used to be, you don't know this, but I used to be a member of the stock exchange here, the New York Stock Exchange. And
Okay.
so it's slightly different because yours is the social side of it.
Totally different.
Yes.
In fact, the
Yes.
concept of a social stock exchange was actually developed by a marketer in
Ah.
Brazil for the Brazilian stock exchange.
I see.
Basically, what it was corporate social responsibility for this stock exchange itself, and they just called it the social stock exchange. We went over there, looked at what they were doing, and we adopted it, but we have also adapted it for Jamaica. Our social stock exchange in Jamaica, it mimics how the stock exchange works in that a stock exchange is really a marketplace
Yes.
where you bring companies to the market and you're making a demand on the market which they supply, which is finance.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So that's the pattern, and it's a virtual platform. So we're patterned off our parent company, the stock exchange. So basically, it's a virtual place, and we get social projects coming in. We're going to operate 2 markets. We currently have only one operating. This is a project for markets, and it is a donation, a type of crowdfunding platform, really, but a little more sophisticated than most that you see around the place, because we're patterned off of our own stock exchange in terms of governance, for example.
Yes.
We have a board. We have a selection and listing subcommittee of the board where the projects are submitted, the project proposals that must have a theory of change. That's the difference now between a business that comes to the stock exchange to be listed and a social project that comes to the social stock exchange to be listed. You have to have a theory of change. What social problem are you solving with this project?
Yes.
Whether it is environmental, whether it is creating jobs, creating wealth creation, whether it's for a marginalized group of citizens who need opportunities, need to develop self-esteem, anything like that. It has to have a theory of change that's going to impact lives. Yeah?
Wonderful.
Now, I must point out that does not mean that it cannot trade in goods and services and actually generate income. That is also possible for not-for-profits, because these are all not-for-profits that come to us on the social exchange on Market One. So I don't know if you're getting the concept. A social organization bring to us a project proposal. It is selected by our board. We bring it to market on the social exchange, and so the public is invited by our stamp of approval, the fact that it is on the social exchange. You have our guarantee that it is a viable, good project. All you need to do is participate by funding it. We continue the process of ensuring that the funds are properly used, meaning there's total transparency and accountability. There has to be reporting. There are monthly management reports that must be submitted to the Social Stock Exchange by the project. And quarterly, we must get financial reporting. And if your financial report is not in order, then you cannot get a drawdown. You cannot get the next release of funds. So we're pretty sophisticated, quote unquote, for social sector operations.
Yes.
And that's a part of our objective, to lift the modus, to lift the whole governance and execution that happens in the social sector, so that at the end of the day, you can build trust, you can build confidence, and so we can probably see a greater support
Yes.
to the voluntary social sector.
Well,
When we receive the sorry,
no, go ahead.
Nora,
Go ahead.
when we receive the legislation that our government is currently looking at, which will define what a social business is, which is going to be called social enterprises, then we will open the second market on the social stock exchange. That market will allow a social business now to be taken to market for them to invest in the business itself, so they can buy stocks, they can buy shares in that social enterprise. And then you would have a social stock exchange operating both for the not-for-profits and also for the for-profit social enterprise.
Excellent. You know, I am so proud of the stock exchange and for Jamaica for adopting this and for having this initiative. You know, it is very sophisticated, as you say, and I know it's going to help Jamaica as a whole. So thank you for what you're doing there too as the manager. Now, how can we, the diaspora, best assist and support you in the work you're doing?
I'm so glad you asked, because that now has become our greatest challenge. Have we gotten the financing from our parent company, which is the stock exchange, Jamaica Stock Exchange, and even we've gotten a significant assistance from one of our international development partners, the IDB,
Yes.
International Development Bank,
Yes.
which has helped us to build out so far. The critical thing now is we need sustainability, meaning we need support. We need the market to be funding the projects consistently. So we have the facility on the exchange where you go on JSSEJA.com. That's the website for the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. That's the marketplace.
Right.
You go on, you click on projects, you get a full review of each project and what it's about. And you have an option. It gives you, there's a dialog box that says how to donate.
Yes.
You click on that and you determine if you want to register on the site, or if you don't want to register, or if you want to make a pledge. If you want to donate right now, you go ahead and donate. Take out your credit card, click on the project you want to assist, use your credit card, use your PayPal, use your Visa debit card, and you go right ahead and do that. And we would want to hope that people would do that consistently. If you want to make a one-off lump sum support payment, that's fine, right? But what we want is to have that consistent support, because there are many other projects that are waiting to come on.
Indeed.
And we have projects there now that are doing well, meaning that we have had enough funding for them to start. But we need to sustain the projects. We need to be able to continue funding them in the second phase, the third phase, the fourth phase. So as diaspora, we would initially and most importantly ask for financial support, which is a donation. You're not going to get an ROI on this type of investment right now.
Yes.
When the second market is open, it will be possible to buy shares, buy stocks in social businesses that might give you a ROI. What we have here that we are committed to do is measure and report to you the impact of what you are donating into. So that's
Excellent.
the return that you get now. It's called the social return on investment, right?
Yes.
Additionally, in the diaspora, we know that there are a lot of entities that support Jamaica from
Indeed.
here.
Indeed.
If diaspora organizations that have a social theory of change operating, if they register in Jamaica as a Jamaican branch of their entity with the Department of Cooperatives and Friendly Society, they could apply to us to list the project for them on the exchange, and we would be prepared to monitor the project on your behalf so that there's transparency, that there's efficiency, and that everybody gets an account of how the project is going and that the funds are being used well. And we think that that is a service that is quite valuable to the diaspora, that we know a lot of people don't know, that, you know, we could collaborate with them in
Yes.
this way. So we have all the projects that need funding, and funding can be done at any time of the day, 24/7. You go on anytime, JSSEJA.com. And then we can also come into partnership with the stuff that you already are doing there that you would like to have a stricter reporting mechanism and accountability for the funds that go into the projects.
Excellent. And I know that individuals in the diaspora and associations would be happy to talk to you further about that. So I just want to say...
So I can be contacted on the website, JSSE at jamstockex.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's JAMSTOCKEX.com. Or my name, Nora, NORA .BLAKE at jamstockex.com. And of course, you can share my number if you wish to your listeners.
Yes.
I can be contacted directly online. And we are very open to discuss any possible collaborations, any possible partnership. Those who are listening now, I make an appeal to go on the website now, JSSEJA.com. Look at the projects and help us to get them funded. Just think of the Jamaica that we can impact and improve. That will be 5 years down the road, 10 years. You say to yourself, how can I improve the situation in Jamaica? The Jamaica I would like to see in 5 years' time or 10 years' time.
Yes.
And whichever one of the projects there look like the area you are interested in, it is designed for. I appeal for your strong donation to that project.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for putting that so articulately. Thank you so much. I've heard you speak before and give a presentation, so I knew how good you were. But thank you so much, Miss Blake, for joining us today, for shedding light on the wonderful work being carried out by you and by the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Would you mind leaving us with just a few words of encouragement today?
Well, what I would want to say as I go is that we have a vision for Jamaica, that Jamaicans abroad and Jamaicans in Jamaica like. It's called our Vision 2030, which is that Jamaica, we want to see Jamaica the place of choice.
Yes.
That we would want to live, we would want to work, we would want to raise our family, and we would want to do business there. And I am here to say that Vision 2030 has 4 overall basic goals or outcomes. And of the 4, only 1 is strictly dependent on how the economy goes. The other 3 are all dependent on how much effort we put into the social dimension. So I'm saying, if we want to see Jamaica become that place of choice for all of us, we have to mobilize, we have to support the development of the social and the environment.
Indeed. Thank you again so very much. And we'll talk about this soon. We'll talk some more, okay? Thank you so much. God bless you. It is absolutely.
I look forward to seeing some uptick on the website, JSSEJA.com.
Amen.
For those who have probably heard the discussion today.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.